Okay, so now we come to section 293. So those go through the, say, the major silas or ethical observances that correspond pretty much to the first 7 of the 10 courses of wholesome conduct. Now we come to more sort of specific observances undertaken by the monastic, more along the, say, the lines of ascetic practice rather than ethical practice. And these are all just grouped together into one big paragraph. Wow, it's so long, I don't know if we could finish. Okay, we'll try. Okay, so this is 293. So bija gama bhuta gama.
So,
Okay,
yes, Ante. So,
go ahead.
Bija, Gama, Bhuta, Gama,
Samaramba pativirato hoti.
Samarambha, Pativirato Hoti.
Maybe I should read each one because each one consists of just like a short phrase. So he is one who refrains from. Then samaramba here would have the meaning, the way it's translated as injuring, the injury of. And then bijagama is taken to be literally, it's the seed village, but it means seed life or seeds. And bhutagama is taken to be plants. Here we have the word bhuta, but it's given a narrower meaning than usual. Not living beings, not truthfulness or fact, but here it refers to plant life, bhutagama. So one who refrains from injuring or destroying seeds and plant life. And then the commentary gives Chedana, Bedana, Pachana, and so forth. So cutting, breaking, burning, and so forth, one refrains from that. Okay, so that's the first phrase. Then we have Ekapatiko hoti, rut uparato, virato, vikala, bhojana.
Ek Bhattiko Hoti, Ratu Parato, Virato, Vikala Bhojana.
So ekapatiko is an adjective based on, of course, eka, one, and bhatta is a meal. So ekabhatta is one meal, and ekabhattika is one who eats one meal. And the sense is one who eats one meal per day. But the commentary explains, the way the commentary explains this, because the monastic precept says simply to abstain from eating after midday. So the commentary explains that whatever food one takes between the break of dawn and the middle of the day all comes comes under ekabhatta, one meal. So probably the original ideal, ascetic ideal, was just to eat on one occasion per day. Okay, so what he is a one meal eater. Then rut uparato. So uparata means to abstain, again, to abstain from, to refrain from. And then the rati here, according to the commentary explains that it's ratiya bhojanang is rati. That what's meant by night is the meal at night. So one who refrains from a meal at night, from eating at night. And then virato, again, one who abstains. Vikala bhojana, one who abstains from eating outside the time, at the wrong time. Then the wrong time for the monastic is from midday until the break of dawn the next day. So we don't eat dinner or even afternoon or evening snacks. Okay, so that is the second of these principles. Okay, then we come to the next one. And after this, I'll ask if there's any questions on the language or grammar. We don't want to go into discussion of monastic discipline here. So, Nacha Gita Vadita
Nacha Gita Vadita
Visuka Dasana
Visuka Dasana
Pati Virato Hoti.
Pati Virato Hoti.
Okay, so Nacha is dancing. Gita is singing. Vadita is instrumental music. And then Visuka Dasana is taken, it's the exact meaning of Visuka. It's a bit obscure, but the way it's explained, it's elaborated in the first sutta of the Digha Nikaya, all the different types of shows and entertainments that the monastic is supposed to abstain from. So we could translate, he is one who abstains from dancing, singing, instrumental music, and unsuitable shows. So any questions about the terminology or grammar here? Okay, then we come to the next one. Here this is a very complicated compound. Okay, Mala Gandha Vilepana,
Mala Gandha Vilepana
Dharana Mandana Vibhusana Thana,
Dharana Mandana Vibhusana Thana
Pati Virato Hoti.
Pati Virato Hoti.
So mala are garlands, wreaths of flowers that one might wear as a decoration. Gandha, these are fragrances, like especially like perfumes and so on. Vilepana are ointments intended to beautify the body. And then these three words actually go, it seems, with the three previous nouns. So dharana is wearing, mandana, it's what do you do when you put on perfume or some kind of fragrance?
Apply.
What is that?
Spritzing.
Apply.
Applying. Okay, here the translation has smartening, which sounds now a bit archaic. But you get the idea. Mandana can also be like an ornament, adorning, and then vibhusana, ornamenting. So anyway, we have the translation, embellishing. Okay, so he abstains from wearing garlands, that's dharana mala, smartening with scents or with fragrances, that would be gandha mandana, and embellishing himself with unguents, that would be vilepana. Vilepana is like an ointment, and vibhusana is decorating or ornamenting. And thana just means like the cases, instances. So one abstains from wearing garlands, applying fragrances, and beautifying oneself with ointments, with unguents. Okay, then we go to the next one. Ucha Sayana Mahasayana Pativirato Hoti.
Uchasayana Mahasayana Pativiratu Hoti.
So ucha means high, and sayana is a sleeping place, a bed. And maha is large or great, sayana, a bed. So one who refrains from the use of high and we could say luxurious beds, high beds and large beds. And then I think it's also the beginning of the Brahmajala Sutta has a long passage on the kinds of luxurious beds and seats that some of the Brahmins and ascetics would use. Even in India today, sometimes you see some of these swamis in their pavilions with such luxurious seats and beds, but one is supposed to sleep on a low, simple bed. Okay, next, Jata Rupa Rajata Patigahana.
Jata Rupa Rajata Patigahana
Pati Virato Hoti.
Pativirato Hoti.
So Jata Rupa is gold and Rajata is silver, and Pati Gahana means to receive, to accept. And so one abstains from receiving or accepting gold and silver, or in other words, currency or money. Okay, next, Amaka Danya Patigahana Pativirato Hoti.
Amaka Dhanya Patigahana Pativirato Hoti.
So Amaka means raw, and Danya is grain. And so one refrains from receiving raw grain. What I'm going to do, all of these are really constructed on the same grammatical principle. So we'll just go through. Yeah, I'll just go through and translate straight off rather than reading back and forth. Of course, there's nothing really interesting grammatically here. So it's just to get through this quickly. So amaka mangsa patigahana. So this is receiving raw meat. Amaka is raw and mangsa is meat. Okay, then the next one is iti kumarika patigahana pativirato hoti. So one abstains from accepting or receiving iti as women, and kumarika is young girls. Apparently, it might seem shocking to us today, but in the ancient Indian, quote, ascetic culture, I guess people would offer sort of women and girls as offerings to some of the ascetics as their playthings for their enjoyment. Okay, then dasi dasa patigahana pativirato hoti. So he refrains from accepting dasi, are female slaves, dasa, male slaves. Next, he abstains from receiving aja. Aja are goats, alika are sheep. So ajalika are goats and sheep. Then kukuta sukara. Kukuta are chickens, poultry, we could say, and sukara are pigs. Here we have fowl and pigs. Then hati, gava. So hati are elephants, gava are cattle, cows, asa are horses, valava are mares, female horses. So he refrains from accepting those. Then keta vatu patigahana pativirato hoti. Keta would be fields, and vatu are plots of land, pieces of land. So it avoids accepting those. Okay, then the next is a little different. Tuteya pahina gamananu yoga pativirato hoti. So he abstains from the practice of going on delivering messages and running errands, going on errands and running messages. That is on behalf of lay people. So lay person says to the monk, can you please deliver a message to such and such? Of course, there are times when it's okay to give the message, but this is like doing this as a way of catering to get favor from the lay people, or feeling like servile to the lay people. But if somebody says, could you please tell, say Bowie tells me, please tell Jin that I need a ride this afternoon when you see her, then it's okay. I can tell Jin Bowie needs a ride. So that's not violating this. Okay, kaya vikaya pativirato hoti. So this is abstaining from kaya is buying things, and vikaya is selling things. And then the last is tula kuta kangsa. I say tula kuta kangsa kuta mana kuta pativirato hoti. Yeah, so kuta is like deception, deceptive, and tula is a weight. So this is deceiving deception with weights, using false weights. Kangsa is originally brass or bronze, brass, kuta. So this is with deceiving with brass, with false metals. And mana is measurement, and kuta is deception with regard to measurements. So one abstains from this, then akotana, vanchana, nikati, sachi yoga pativirato hoti. So ukotana is cheating. Yeah, these are all similar in meaning, just little difference in nuances. Vanchana is, we could say, deceiving. Nikati, maybe cheating. The translation has 1, 2, 3, 4, but I see 1, 2. Yeah, okay, there's 4. So we have here cheating, deceiving, nikati, defrauding, and sachi yoga, trickery. So one abstains from that. And then the last is abstaining from chetana. Chetana is cutting, literally cutting or injuring. Vada is murdering or killing. Bandhana is binding, tying up. Viparamosa, here we have brigandage, and alopa is plundering, and sahasakara is acting with violence. So one abstains from wounding, murdering, tying up or binding, brigandage, plunder, and violence. Okay, I think maybe any questions on this passage?
Bhante, may I ask a question?
Yeah.
This word messenger that you said just now, is it parapasena? Is that the same?
The same as what?
Parapasena.
Parapasena.
Is that messenger? Is that the same?
I don't see the word parapasena.
No, yes, you said a different word, so I'm trying to connect whether these two words are the same. You mentioned earlier it's wrong to be a messenger for favor from lay people.
Yeah.
But is that the same word as parapasena?
Parapasena is a Pali word?
Yeah, P-A-R-A-P-E-S-S-E-N-A.
Wait. P-A-R-A.
Yeah. P-A-R-A, yes.
Yeah.
P-E-S-S-E-N-A. Is that a messenger?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, now I see it. I think it's the stem form should be parapesa. Yeah, that's being a messenger for others. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, in that case, we'll end the session on the Chula Hati Padopama Sutta, and then we'll go to the new sutta from the Sutta Nipata. So now we come to, we're in chapter 2, the Chula Vagga, and this is sutta number 2, called Amaganda Sutta. And the word Ama, to explain the title, means raw, and Ganda means odor. So literally, it's raw odor, but it takes on an extended meaning of, well, to be frank, it means meat as a food. So it's the topic of the sutta is meat eating. So I translated the title as carrion, not a very common word in English. Yeah, but we do get, I just looked in the thesaurus, we get flesh, meat, muscle, tissue, and so on. K.R. Norman used tainted fare, which maybe is a little bit obscure to contemporaries. Fare sometimes is used to refer to food, and tainted indicates the idea of corruption. Okay, ready to plunge in? Okay, so we start with verse number 239. And the first two verses are a bit difficult. But first, let me just explain the background story here. So there is, first, the sutta is supposedly taking place during the time of the Buddha preceding Gautama Buddha. This is Kassapa Buddha. So the main speaker in the sutta is not our Buddha, Gautama Buddha, but Kassapa Buddha. So it's Gautama Buddha who's relating the sutta. And Kassapa Buddha is being challenged by a Brahmin hermit who heard that there is a Buddha has arisen in the world. He's come to see him. And now when he saw the Buddha, he asked the Buddha, whether do you eat amaganda? Do you eat meat? And the Buddha said, I don't eat meat. But then a few days later, the Brahmin came to visit the Buddha at a time when the Buddha had received a meal offering from the king, which included various meat dishes. And so now the Brahmin sees the Buddha eating these meat dishes, and so he's shocked and angry, and he starts criticizing the Buddha. And so the first verses are spoken by the Brahmin attacking the Buddha Kassapa. Okay, so let us read. We have a lot of compounds here. With Sama Kachingulaka China Kanicha. Vaishali?
Yes, Bhante.
Go.
Sama Kachingulaka Chinakanicha.
Patta Palang, Mula Palang, Gavi Palang.
Patta Phalang, Mula Phalang, Gavi Phalang.
Yeah, maybe I should translate line by line, because here we have a lot of rare words that are rare in Pali, designating different types of foods. And to understand the words, we had to consult the commentary. Okay, so based on the explanation, the commentary, sama refers to wild millet, and kachingula are grains that grow from grasses. Chinakani are pulses or maybe beans. Then patapalang are, the word pala means fruit, but pata means leaf. So literally this would be leaf fruits, but these would be like edible leaves. And mula palang would be root fruits. So these would be things like tubers, or I guess like carrots, potatoes, but potatoes that what was not indigenous to India. Various kinds of roots that would be eaten, different kinds of radishes, carrots, I don't know, many others. Gavi palang, these are fruits that grow on creepers. In other words, they're like squashes or gourds. Okay, so that's the list of foods. And then he goes on to say, Dhamena ladang, that means gained in accordance with the Dhamma. Then I'm going to skip over the word satang here for a moment. Then we have the present participle asnamana, which doesn't seem like typical Pali. So I see that the Sinhalese edition has asamana, and the Siamese edition has, with it two S's, asamana. And space, there's a verb that occurs, maybe it's quite common in Sanskrit. Is this the correct N? Ashnati, which means to eat. And in Pali, it could come out as asanati. That would be a more normal form. But this is the form we have in the Burmese edition, and the Sinhalese edition has, wait, let me just look. Yeah, the dictionary gives us nati. It says that the regular Pali form would be asati and asanati. Asanati or asati. But it's very, very rare. Very seldom do we encounter this word. Okay, so taking it to be eating, then what's problematic is this word satang. And even it seems, because satang normally would be the genitive plural, as you know, of the verb ati, with an extended meaning of satang being of the good. And so even the commentator had problem with this, because it's simply engrossing the word. I'll paste it in. Yeah, so you can see the commentary. First, it glosses the rare word asnamana with bunjamana. So anybody who knows Pali, you're fairly familiar with normal Pali, knows the verb bunjati, meaning to eat. So bunjamana is eating. And then when it comes to the word santang, you can see it glosses satang with the nominative plural, santo, Arya. So that's the explanation in the commentary. But I looked in K.R. Norman's notes to his translation of the Sutta Nipata, 239. Yeah, so K.R. Norman says he doesn't believe that satang can be a nominative plural, the way the commentary explains it. So he takes it to be genitive plural together with dhammena. So he takes satang to, in sense, to go here, obtained in accordance with the Dhamma of the good ones. So it's something problematic that nobody can really answer this definitely. Okay, but now continuing with the verse, he says that he's speaking now about the ancient holy ones, nakama kama. So this would be desiring sensual pleasures. They did not, the na goes with banitang. They did not speak alika. Alika is a lie. And then bananti is a verb meaning to speak. So it's a somewhat difficult verse. I'll read the translation that I have. Okay, wild millet, grains from grasses, highland pulses, that's chinikani, green leaves, tubers, that's mula palang, and squashes. Eating these righteously gained in accordance with the Dhamma, the good. So I follow the commentary in taking satang to be santo, the good ones. Do not speak lies, desiring sensual pleasures. Yeah, let's take the second verse. Because you see, he's trying to point out first that the ancient sages, the holy ones, ate only vegetarian food or vegetable foods. They didn't eat from a desire for sensual pleasure. They didn't eat meat dishes. So then now we go to 240. Yad asnamano sukatang suniti tang.
Yad asnamano sukatang sunitthitang
Parehi dinang payatang panitang.
parehi dinnang payatang panitang
Salinang anang paribunjamano.
salinang anang paribhunjamano
So bunjasi kasapa amagandang.
so bunjasi kasapa amagandham.
Yeah, the pronoun yad, I think just refers down to anang. Maybe okay, we'll come to that. So asnamano, again, that present participle from the verb asnati, to eat. So eating, so what you are eating is sukatung. It's well done, well made, well prepared. Su nititang, similar in sense. Let's say well cooked, well prepared. Then parehi, by others, dinang is given, and payatang is also similar in meaning. So presented, given and presented by others. And it's panitang, it's delicious. And all of this is referring to anang, to the food. The word anna here means food of sali. Sali is a kind of high quality rice. And then paribunjamano is another present participle from the verb paribunjati, meaning like to enjoy. So we can say eating what has been, well, let's conclude. So bunjasi, I guess the so here represents same as tvang. You, bunjasi, this is the second person. You eat amagandang, carrion. And then Kassapa is the vocative addressing him by name, O Kassapa. So that which is eating, that which has been well cooked, well prepared, given by others, respectfully offered, delicious, enjoying a meal of sali, of fine hill rice. You, O Kassapa, eat carrion. But so far we haven't seen the reason for this sharp criticism. That comes in the next verse. So let's take the next verse. In that way we'll complete the Brahman's accusations and reproaches against the Buddha Kassapa. So he goes on, Na amagando mama kapati ti.
Na amagandho mama kappati ti.
Icheva tvang basasi Brahma bandhu.
Icheva tang bhasasi Brahma bandhu.
Salinang anang paribunjamano.
Salinang anang paribhunjamano.
Sakunta mangsehi susankatehi.
Sakunta mansehi susankha tehi.
Puchami tang Kassapa etam atang.
Uchami tang kassapa etang atang.
Katang pakaro tava amagando.
Katang pakaro tava amagandho.
Okay, so apparently earlier the Buddha Kassapa told the Brahmin, he said, Na amagando mama kapati. So he said that, see how I rendered this? He said that carrion or fleshly meat or fleshly food is not proper for me. So you say this, and then he calls Kassapa Brahma Bandhu, which means a relative of Brahma, of the god Brahma, because Kassapa, the Buddha Kassapa, was from the Brahmin caste, whereas Gautama Buddha is from the Kshatriya caste. So he calls him Brahma Bandhu, a relative or a kinsman of the god Brahma, because that's what the Brahmins claimed about themselves. So he said, early you say, O kinsman of Brahma, that fleshly food is not proper for me. And then he goes on, eating, you say this while eating or enjoying a meal of hill rice, of fine quality rice. And then here's the catch expression. Susankatehi means with well prepared. And with well prepared what? Sakunta mangsehi. Sakunta is a bird and mangsa is flesh. So you're eating a meal of hill rice with well prepared, finely prepared poultry, the fish of a bird, the flesh of a bird, maybe chicken or pheasant or some other bird that was used for food. Then he says, I ask you, tongue must be second person accusative pronoun. You, I ask you, O Kassapa, about this meaning or this matter. Then katang is how, and pakaro is manner or aspect. Tava for you, amagando is carrion or fleshly food. So for you, like what is that? The sense is for you, what is the meaning of fleshly food? What do you take to be fleshly food, to be carrion? Okay, so that takes care of the first three verses, which I have to say they're difficult verses. But if you have any questions from my explanation, please be welcome to ask. Yeah, it's not, as I said, it's not easy verses. So don't be shy if you do have any questions. Okay, if no questions, then we can go on to one more verse. Here it gets easier. The rest of the sutta is easier, much, much easier. In fact, it's mainly a list of items. So now we come to verse 242. Panati pato vajacheda bandhanam.
Panati pato vadha cheda bandhanam.
Teyang musavado nikati vanchanani cha.
Theyang musavado nikati vanchanani cha.
Ajena kutang paradara sevana.
Ajena kuttang paradara sevana.
Asa, we should take it. Asa amagando nahi mangsa bhojanang.
Esa amagandho nahi mansa bhojanam.
Okay, so now Kassapa, the Buddha Kassapa, is explaining what he understands by amaganda, by carrion or fleshly food. So panati pata, the destruction of life. And these are words we just came across in the Majjhima Nikaya Sutta. Vada is killing. Cheda is injuring or cutting. Bandhana is binding. Teya is theft. Musavada, false speech. Nikati is cheating or fraud. Vanchana is cheating or deceptiveness. Achena kutang, I follow the explanation in the commentary, which explained this as the study of useless subjects. Yeah, on its own, it's difficult to understand the term, but the commentary, let's see if we get that. So niratta means without any benefit, devoid of atta, benefit. I'm sorry, this is an adjective. It all becomes an adjective. So, oops. So that without non-beneficial, aneka is many, and ganta would be like subjects of study. And literally, it's books, and pariyapuna is learning. Pariyapunana is learning. So this would be the study of many useless subjects.
Bante.
Yeah.
Can I suggest what that means for today's world?
Yeah.
It means studying of Netflix.
Okay. 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 So and then paradara sevana. So this is sevana is resorting to or going to paradara, the wives of others. So then the Buddha Kassapa says, this is amaganda. This is carrion. This is fleshly food, but not mangsa bhojanang, the eating of meat. Okay, so any questions here?
Bante?
Yeah.
The word amaganda, does it carry a sense of smell of corpse?
Of smell what?
Corpse? Dead body?
Corpse. Ganda is smell, but ama is not a corpse. I think ama just has a sense of raw. I just want to see if the commentary gives an explanation of ama. Oh, actually, Kunapaganda does give it gives Ramaganda. Visagando, Visa is poison. So this would be a poisonous smell. And then Kunapa, one of the nuances of Kunapa is a corpse. So this would be the smell of a corpse.
So it would be derogative to the samana.
So it would be what?
Derogatory to the samana. If you are eating carcass.
Yeah, according to the Brahmin, that is the case. But the Buddha Kassapa is eating the poultry meat.
Yeah, yes, according to the Brahmin.
Yeah. Okay, any other question? Okay, then we'll end for the day here. Okay, I see Venerable Dhammadippa just came on. Okay, so then thank you all for joining. And then we'll continue reading the sutta next week. Okay, so we could end with 3 bows to the Buddha. 1, 2, 3.
Bow to Bante.
Okay.
Thank you, Bante.
And thank you, Bante.
Okay.
Thank you, Bante.
Thank you, Bante.
Okay.
Thank you, Bante.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you, Vaishali, for reading along.